Hello, and welcome to my discussion on artificial intelligence use in Australian secondary education. I am a classroom teacher in a college in the Australian Capital Territory, and my subject areas are English, media, and geography. In this discussion, we will be unpacking elements of this very quickly evolving technology, including what is artificial intelligence, how is it being used by students and teachers across classrooms, focusing on my area of senior studies. We will also be outlining the key elements of various policy documents available to students and teachers to guide the use of AI in the classroom, as well as safety and privacy concerns and measures. I will also discuss an example of how AI can be implemented in the college classroom in my subject area of media, and how we might or I might measure this type of technology use using the PICRAT framework. Finally, we will have a look at barriers and strategies of AI use in secondary education, including academic integrity, bias, critical thinking, and the digital divide. By understanding what AI can and cannot do, we can act to ensure the Australian experience of artificial intelligence in schools is positive, ethical, and effective. What is generative AI? The Australian Framework for Generative Artificial Intelligence in Schools defines generative AI as software that is able to generate new content such as text, images, audio, and video that resembles what humans produce. Stanford University professor John McCarthy, who's believed to have coined the term artificial intelligence, simply states that it is the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. There are two different types of artificial intelligence: predictive and generative. While predictive AI analyzes data to forecast results, generative AI specializes in producing new content through pattern recognition. According to UNESCO, these systems process information in a way that resembles intelligent behavior, specifically through reasoning and learning. How is AI being used? For students, AI acts like a personal 24/7 digital tutor. Instead of everyone learning the exact same thing at the same speed, smart software looks at what a individual student is good at and what they struggle with. It gives them instant feedback on things like maths and writing, which helps them keep motivated and in control of their own learning. For teachers, AI is a helpful assistant, not a replacement. By taking care of boring paperwork like tracking attendance or helping with initial marking, it has the potential of freeing up teachers to do what they do best: actually teaching and supporting their students. There has been an enormous uptake of the use of AI by both students and teachers in the last couple of years. Safety and privacy. Safety is our most critical concern, especially for students. The Australian Framework for Generative AI in Schools makes it clear that the well-being of young people must be prioritised and protected whenever these tools are used. Beyond basic privacy, we must prevent the exploitation of data for commercial purposes. Adams et al. Warn that as AI monitors student progress, it can lead to commercialization of childhood, where every student interaction becomes a data point for sale. We also need to be wary of deepfakes, which creates a very real-like false depiction of a person that can be used for harassment and disinformation. Furthermore, because AI is probabilistic, it makes decisions based on quantity, not quality, which can lead to the dissemination of biased or incorrect information. To manage this, it is essential that our students are media literate. This requires explicit teaching within subject areas like English and media, for example, to ensure that students can critically evaluate the sources they encounter. By embedding these skills into school curricula, students will be better equipped to identify when a tool is producing a biased output, moving them from passive users to critical consumers who understand that human oversight is always necessary. There are a variety of AI policy documents available to teachers and students and institutions in Australia. There is the National Policy, Australian Framework for Generative Artificial Intelligence Use in Schools. Various state and territory governments also have their own policy documents. And for me, as a college teacher, the ACT BSSS Teacher Guide, AI and Academic Integrity Use document is quite useful and helpful, and the purpose of them is to provide guidance on how teachers can best use AI in schools. The ACT BSSS Teacher Guide on AI and Academic Integrity specifically addresses plagiarism and outlines academic integrity policy. It has information on the detection of AI plagiarism, including AI detection tools. It provides guidance on AI plagiarism conversations, the integration of AI in task conditions and integrity controls, student appeals and board appeals, prevention strategies, and discussion of why students cheat. It's a positive document in that it states we need to be mindful that an accusation of suspected plagiarism may be a defining moment in a child's academic career. Treating them with kindness and a presumption of innocence, no matter how time-consuming going through the academic integrity process is. Implementation. To see how this might work in practice, or the implementation of AI might work in practice, let's have a look at a media studies task where AI software can be used. I have in the past, in a unit called Communicating Media, Meaning in Media, created a practical or a making task where students create a fact-checking news report segment or a TikTok clip, asking them to debunk a myth or piece of misinformation circulating on the internet. They present the facts using evidence, visuals, narration, and text to explain how the misinformation or myth is incorrect. Students have always enjoyed this task and were able to demonstrate how they research information they come across on the internet in the written reflection that accompanies the task. For the purposes of this, integrating AI, we are turning the assessment around and are asking students to use a tool like Adobe Firefly to create a speculative news package themselves. They are asked to prompt the AI software, generate synthetic media, visuals, and audio, and then write a critical reflection on the ethical implications of synthetic media for the audience or viewers, as well as the broader Australian media landscape. This will allow students to experiment with AI software, as well as to be developing media literacy skills by analysing the production and the impact of fake news. PICRAT. The PICRAT model is a 3x3 matrix designed to help teachers evaluate and improve how they integrate technology into the classrooms. It assesses two key dimensions: the student's role, which ranges from passive to interactive or creative, and the technology's impact on the teacher's practice, categorized as replacement, amplification, or transformation. Teachers aim for the top right of the matrix, where student engagement is creative and the technology fundamentally transforms the learning experience. To evaluate the synthetic media task, I've applied the PICRAT framework, assisting teachers in improving classroom practices by measuring student engagement against pedagogical impact. I've classified this task as creative and transformative. From the student's perspective, the engagement is creative. Rather than being passive consumers, students are knowledge artifact creators. They move beyond traditional editing into prompt engineering to achieve a complex goal. This aligns with the Institute for Ethical AI in Education, which suggests that AI should augment human intelligence by allowing students to master new forms of digital expression. From my perspective as a teacher, this technology transforms what I do in the classroom. As Hughes et al. Observe, true transformation provides a relative advantage that changes the learning experience fundamentally. This task allows students to experiment with high-level CGI and synthesis that previously required a professional studio budget. It turns a historically theoretical ethics lesson into a hands-on exploration of what Corbin et al. Call the wicked problem of AI, the tension between creative potential and the erosion of digital truth. By using generative AI here, I'm not just replacing an old tool, I'm facilitating the level of critical inquiry that was previously impossible to achieve in a standard classroom setting. Challenges and barriers associated with AI in schools include maintaining critical thinking skills, ensuring equitable access to technology, supporting teachers through rapid technological change, and protecting academic integrity. One major challenge is helping young people judge the accuracy and authenticity of online content. Because generative AI systems learn from large quantities of online information, they can reproduce misinformation, stereotypes, and bias. Also, increasingly realistic AI-generated images, video, and audio make it really difficult for students and adults alike to distinguish between authentic and synthetic media. To address this, schools must continue embedding media literacy and critical thinking. Students need explicit instruction, they need to be able to identify bias, and they need to question how information is produced and distributed online. Teachers also need ongoing professional learning so they can remain informed about emerging technologies and confidently guide students through this rapidly changing digital landscape. Another significant barrier is equity of access. While some students have constant access to AI tools and digital devices at home, others face socioeconomic barriers that limit their participation. Schools therefore need to ensure AI integration does not widen existing educational inequalities. Providing supervised access to approved technologies within schools can help support more equitable learning opportunities. Academic integrity also remains a significant concern. As Corbin et al. Explain, AI and assessment is a wicked problem because there's no single solution that completely prevents misuse. In response, many schools, including mine, are redesigning assessment practices to focus more heavily on drafting processes, classroom checkpoints, and teacher observation, rather than relying solely on final submitted products. Ultimately, AI should support rather than replace human learning and judgment. The Institute for Ethical AI in Education argues for human-in-the-loop systems, where teachers remain central to evaluating student understanding and ensuring that technology is used in a pedagogically appropriate way. AI technology is developing and being implemented by students and teachers at enormous speeds. The overall impacts that the use of this technology is having on student learning, assessment practices, and cognitive development is still entirely unclear. Furthermore, guidelines around how teachers can ethically and effectively use AI in schools are continuing to evolve. Schools, including colleges, are consistently addressing these issues, and as teachers, we're trying to implement solutions that allow students to demonstrate their understanding and abilities across subject areas, while still ensuring students submit original work that is actually their own. Schools and teachers are continuing to adapt to the rapid development of AI technologies by redesigning assessment, strengthening media literacy, and developing ethical guidelines that support student learning whilst maintaining fairness and authenticity. As AI becomes more integrated in classrooms, it is likely to continue transforming pedagogy, assessment, and workload issues in ways we cannot yet fully predict. Ultimately, it will be important that teachers, students, families, and institutions continue to work together to ensure these technologies are used responsibly, ethically, and effectively within Australian schools. Thank you for listening.